And ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmire joins me now for more on this. Brian, this hearing was scheduled for 3 days, but it took this judge only one to hear the evidence and rule. Were you surprised by how fast the judge made this decision?
Well, Dan, I would say it's a bit of a roller coaster because I went from no to yes to no. And the reason why I start with that is when I heard the standard that the judge was using in this case, saying that it's not just tampering they were looking for, but also prejudice, meaning that it's not just that Becky Hill had said something, but that the juror then took it as something that they said, you know what, I have to vote this way. I thought it's a high bar and it's never going to change. But then juror Z testified that exactly what happened, that they heard this information from Becky Hill. It affected their opinion, but then their report came out, their affidavit, and it kind of seemed a little wishy-washy. But ultimately, when the judge made that ruling and said, hey, I even read the transcript, and I don't think that even one juror or Becky Hill's tampering, because she wasn't found to be too credible, changed the ultimate ending of this case because I believe you're guilty. I think this was more the judge saying, you know what, I'm going to kick the can for the Court of Appeals to decide this. I think you're guilty. I'm not changing this verdict.
How does that work? If somebody testifies to something on the stand the way this juror did, saying, you know, yes, it influenced my decision, but then a previous testimony or affidavit says otherwise. How does the judge then differentiate between the two?
The judge picks. The judge gets to pick which one they're going to credit. They're going to say, well, you know what, you were ambivalent, and so I think that your testimony leans this way. It's a very subjective standard when you think about it, when you get two opposing ideas. As a defense attorney, I would say, if you get two opposing ideas from a juror saying how they deliberated, let's go back a step. If that person had those opposing ideas before they were selected to become a juror, they'd be disqualified. We'd never let them be a juror. So if it's enough to disqualify them as a juror, why should it let them stand when we're asking the question whether or not a person got a fair and impartial jury? Hey, there's no love lost between me and Alex Murdaugh. I'm of the opinion that he more likely than not committed this crime, but I don't think he got a fair and impartial jury from what we saw yesterday.
Becky Hill is now the subject of investigations over the allegations made in this case. Where do you see that part of this going?
I think there's going to be a lot more evidence that comes in that we saw at this hearing. We're going to hear more about the plagiarism. We're going to hear more about her incentives to write this book and what other jurors heard, not just the 12 that deliberated, but also the alternates. I think
because she wrote a book about the trial.
Correct. I think she's going to have a lot of issues when it comes to an ethics committee that comes before her. I don't think this is going to be her job very long working in the court systems. All
right. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmire, thank you.
My pleasure.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.